Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome, or hopefully it's welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is What's Trending. And if you're not aware, Thursday mornings here are Kathy Fulton Thursdays. So we get to do 3 shows together. It's very exciting. So Kathy Fulton is our co-host of this show. She's also the co-host of the show we just had, Aging Gracefully with Humor. And she will be the star of the next show right after this, which is Talking Heads. She's one of our expert presenters, and you must start watching if you haven't watched yet. You can also find all of our shows over on our YouTube channel in their own individual playlists. Our YouTube channel is USA Global TV. In addition to Kathy being a co-host and being a talking head, she's also certified as an elevated listener. And if you know anything about me, I am so passionate about people learning how to listen. Why is that? Well, first of all, I listen to people all day long, and I watch people cutting people off, interrupting, judging, coming up with solutions. And in this world, we need more peace, and peace can come from just being able to listen without judging and without trying to steal the stage. Okay, Kathy's also one of our incredible panel members on A Woman's Prerogative, a show for women, by women, about women. And she's also an interior decorator. She's her own business, a 7-figure business she built on her own. And we just learned, if you were watching the show before, she has a home healthcare agency. How does she have time? I don't know, but let's find out what's going on with Kathy and then bring out our guest. Hello.
Hello again. Hello.
Every time I recount what you're doing, I'm sort of like, whoa, amazing that you're able to be so successful in all these areas, Kathy.
Well, thank you. I mean, I listen to you and I get dizzy. I'm thinking, it's like, no wonder I have headaches. But everything that I do, I truly love. And I guess there's so many things that I'm passionate about. And so I guess I'm just determined to plug it all in. But one of my favorite things is joining this platform and all of the connections and the networking and all the positive that's come from it. It's, I stand in true amazement of you every single day. And every time I'm talking to someone about them being a potential guest on the show, and I tell them about you and that she produces it goes up and down 28 to 30 different shows, and she produces all of them. I don't know, my eyes just kind of go tilt. It's like, how do you do it? So, I mean, it's like right back at you, sister,
Well,
it's pretty amazing.
It takes a village. It takes a team. We've got a great team of people here. And also I want to announce that Kathy is an independent contractor for us to provide people the opportunity to sponsor their business, their program, whatever it is they're doing, by running commercials on our platform. So if you're interested in being a sponsor at USA Global TV and Radio, please do reach out to Kathy Fulton. Her information is here. And if you're unable to read it, we'll be sharing it later. So Kathy, something that's trending, and it's definitely trending on this platform, is the fact that people are struggling with their mental health. And one way to really express yourself, to express what's going on inside, is through art. And this is a show that we have, The Art of Creating Mental Health Wealth. We have an artist backstage, as you know, because you brought her here today. And I'm really excited to bring her out and hear about her journey. Before we do, I'd love for you just to share a little bit about how you connected with Hunter Ash.
Well, this is just another one of the amazing ways that I have met people through this show. So I'll give you a few bullet points as to where it all started. So we had a guest on our show, CJ Beerscheid. Well, Kay Beerscheid, who is her mother, I created this alignment with USA Global TV and radio. I called Kay and told her all about it and was asking her because even though I have a good relationship with CJ, I always feel like I need to check with Mother Bear first to make sure I'm not overstepping any boundaries. And anyway, she gave me the go ahead to talk to CJ. We had CJ on, and she did a great job. And then I asked her, I mean, hey, is there anybody that you think would be a great fit for the show? Any of your friends, anyone that's wanting to get their message out? Anyone that we could prop up. And she suggested Hunter. And so I I think I either called or texted or maybe both Hunter and said, hey, let's chat about this. Maybe this is something that would be a fit for you and your business. And here we are. So I'm thrilled. And I can't wait to hear about her story and her vision and where she's going from here. So
Well,
should be a fun
Hunter
show.
Ash is joining us from Austin, Texas, where we have some team members. We love the great state of Texas. She's an
Yes, we
abstract
do.
artist, and she's going to share a little bit about her journey as well as some special opportunities that are coming up for our audience. Let's welcome Hunter Ash. Hello,
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Hunter.
To be here.
It's so exciting to have you here, and we have a lot of people watching. So we want to make sure that we really dive into the work that you're doing. What inspires you, and how did you get started in your journey as an artist?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. First of all, yeah, I'm in Austin, Texas. I actually went to Baylor University. That's where I got my degree in studio art. So I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts from Baylor. And I guess as far as how I got into art, I've been experimenting with what it looks like to be an artist and how to create since I was really young. I feel very grateful to have super supportive parents that really kind of encouraged me to just experiment with what that looks like and how to kind of use art as an outlet. So my whole life, art was really an outlet for me to just feel sort of at home and sort of process my thoughts and kind of escape the busyness of the world and sort of everything that it throws at you. So art was really an escape from a young age for me. And then whenever I went to undergrad, whenever I was going to school at Baylor, something shifted. I talked to some people about what they were pursuing in their studies, and my science degree wasn't really working out. I was like deeply not happy. It was not going well. So the shift from pursuing science to pursuing art was sort of a big decision for me. But that's sort of part of my journey and part of my story was kind of trying one thing and then it didn't work out, and really pursuing something that was just a hobby or just an outlet and feeling brave enough to kind of step into that and see what it looked like, even though I didn't know exactly what type of art I wanted to do or exactly how to do that full time or how to make a living doing it. So I feel very grateful for just the family and the friends that I have that kind of pushed me to try it and try different things. And then for my professors and my classmates and sort of everybody who just encouraged me to really pursue art after school and pursue it as a career. And so I think although the passion was there for a long time, I think a lot of what I do now is just telling myself that it's worth it, and listening to other people about how it is worth it, and yeah, I think believing that it's possible. So I do love what I do, but that's sort of the backstory. And yeah, I started in graphic design. That's sort of where my degree initiated. And then now I'm an abstract painter, and that's greatly because of, yeah, just the people in my life who influenced me to sort of pursue that.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Congratulations. It's very exciting. And you heard me talk in the beginning of the show about how people are going through all different types of things in terms of their mental health, wellness. And the title of this show is Capturing Emotional Human Experience. So, what have you found about your own experience or the wonderful end production that you've created in terms of channeling emotions?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. I think I do like to say that my paintings are about capturing, yeah, the emotional experience as human beings. I think that um, personally, like abstract artwork is just, portraying an idea or a topic without using something literal. And I think that emotions are a great um, it's an intangible, somewhat foreign thing to portray in a physical substance or physical representation. And art makes people feel things. Art, pulls out emotions from people. It allows them to process emotions, whether that means like the act of doing artwork or, people have an emotional attachment to artwork that they see. That's, sort of a great reason why people purchase artwork. So, I don't think that idea is necessarily new. I think other people would agree that art is really important and, plays a great role in how people sort of channel those emotions. And whenever I was kind of first getting into painting, especially in college, I was just kind of trying to process a lot of difficult things, a lot of, maybe harder emotions. And painting again was sort of that way for me to work through hard questions, things I was struggling with, whether that be relationships or decisions or, I think painting allowed me to showcase both the positive and the negative and sort of a dichotomy of things. And how to use elements and the physical, tangible elements of painting and attaching them to emotions and allowing other people to both express themselves through commissioned artwork or kind of see the world through my emotional lens and my view of the world through my artwork has been really special and really meaningful to me. I've talked to a lot of other artists in and around Austin, sort of just the friends I've made here and artists I've met throughout my short career in Austin. It's been really cool to hear other people's perspective on how they've used art to sort of launch them either out of a hard place or into a newer space emotionally, how to process things, how to feel excited about the world and excited about just maybe more than what we're able to kind of see and feel every day. I think, especially throughout COVID, our world can be very isolating. And I think, especially over the last kind of 2 years, it's been really, really sweet to just be affirmed in how important art is and how special it is to really allow space for people to express themselves and just feel something from art. I think that's like the most magical part about art and what I do and what I've seen other artists do is just allowing other people to feel and feel deeply and feel lighter or feel like they can explore those emotions.
Thank you so much. We
Wow.
actually have your website pulled up, but I want to go to Kathy first, and then we'll take a walk through your website.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that first of all, I have the highest admiration for you because to be your age and to have your own business, I mean, my hat is off to you because it wasn't till I was maybe, I don't know, 27, 28 as to where I finally took the plunge and decided I was going to work for myself. And it's hard. It's a hard decision. It's scary. So, congratulations. And I know you're going to continue to be very, very successful. Um, but one thing that, as you were talking, I was trying to just see is how just think about how differently the brain responds to emotions. in terms of you're getting it all out on a canvas, right? And I just think that that is so amazing because I don't respond to emotion at all that way. I mean, I can at best do stick figures. So maybe if there was a category for stick figure art, maybe I could participate in that market, but I'm very doubtful at this point. But for me and just thinking about any type of anything that I would consider art, it's like, okay, so when I hear a song, something comes on the radio, whether it's from when I was back in the 60s, when I was a kid, or in the 80s, like in college, it takes me back. And for whatever reason, it will be like, I just distinctly remember that place and time. And so, I mean, do you kind of have that same type of emotion? I'm just always, I guess what I'm really just trying to say is, how do you take that emotion and then translate it? How do you decide to take that emotion and translate it to the canvas?
Yeah. Well, and to your first point about how maybe you don't feel or, process emotions similarly in like the same creative sense. I think that probably goes for so many people, right? Like, I think that everybody needs an outlet that's a bit different from, the person to their left or their right. I don't know if anybody necessarily would say, like, I don't want to say that that should be everyone's, creative outlet. I think that ultimately, I do have a belief that like we are very creative beings, and that's sort of what we're meant to do, is to create things. And so in your own creative way, you've created this show where you welcome people to share and express themselves through a really great platform. I think a lot of people create amazing foods, or create amazing businesses or things, gardens. Or I think that ultimately understanding that we are creative people doesn't necessarily have to look exactly like creating a piece of artwork that you're going to hang on your wall. And so I totally feel you in that. And I think that that's been a really cool thing to kind of talk through with some of my family or my friends, or throughout, trying to explain where I get my creative drive and how I process the world. I think it's just so important that everybody finds what that is for themselves, and allows them to do it. And I think that as much as I talk about, translating the emotional human experience through artwork, that it's freeing and it's very meditative. And my artistic practice has become really special to me, but it totally requires some effort and a lot of like I don't naturally want to like shut anyone out of my life for a short amount of time, just to like really focus on my painting. So that takes some work to just kind of maybe close myself off to find space where I can like emotionally process some of the things I've been learning, experiencing. I think someone once told me that like the largest, or maybe one of the most important roles as an artist, is just to pay attention. And I think that's something that's really stuck with me, is that whether I'm talking to someone, or whether I'm, trying to go on a vacation, or whether I'm spending time in my own garden, I want to pay attention to how things make me feel. I want to pay attention to how I'm seeing things, what it might what it might look like. To paint something often comes from just my attempt to process how I felt in a moment, or how I felt in reaction to an experience. I think I'm not sure if that completely answers your question, but I think that it takes a lot of time, and it does. Sometimes I'm at a loss for how to do it well. But I think the paying attention and trying to keep in tune with yourself and the world around you is really what painting has helped me do. As far as the physical translation of those elements or those ideas into, elements and design principles and, artistic visuals, I think a lot of it is, how does a certain color make you feel? Or how does a line translate when it runs across the page, connecting certain textures? And how do you create depth? I think a lot of my artwork is a process that keeps evolving. And when I start with a painting, I often don't have a specific picture of what it might end up looking like. I think I have an idea or a story I want to tell. I come up with maybe a topic, and then I kind of use each stroke, each mark, each color to kind of influence the next. And I think that allows my practice to be very fluid, a little bit spontaneous, but also very thoughtful, very intentional, and really transformative for myself and hopefully for other people. So I hope that answered your question. But
Yeah, it does. It's really the bottom line for me is I've never really had an interview with an artist such
yeah.
as yourself. And so for me to talking about the emotion that's translated to the canvas in my world and in my head, I would never think of transferring any emotion onto a canvas because that's just not my world. And so I find it fascinating of your descriptions and how it all works for you. And I agree 100% that creativity comes in all different shapes and sizes. It looks different to everyone. But I think that your expressions they're very special.
Wow, thank you. Thank you.
Hunter, congratulations. I just want to mention to our audience, people just joining us, that not only are you an artist, but you're a business owner. And, people don't realize that what someone's creating could possibly also be part of a bigger entity, which is being a female in business. So congratulations. That's wonderful. Well, I'm pulling up your website. I'd love for you to answer this question. And I'm not sure if there is a difference or not, but how do you prepare yourself for the process of creating your own project versus being hired and commissioned to create something that's someone else's idea? Is there a difference in that process?
Yes. Yeah, that's a great question. I've definitely that's something that's totally evolved, and I've kind of learned to explore and sort of play with different either rhythms or patterns or how to sort of stay consistent in my daily routine and my personal practice. But as far as personal artwork goes, and whenever I sort of launch a series or work on a new body of work, a lot of it starts with something I've either had on my mind or something I've wanted to a story I've wanted to tell. And so therefore it's something I'm often very passionate about. I feel very excited to kind of start a new body of work. I think looking at a blank canvas feels, it feels really fun and like there's so much opportunity, and yet there's also so much to be done. And so I think sometimes it can be daunting to begin. And so also when you're making for yourself, or when you're making artwork that is intended for others but you don't exactly know quite who it's going to land with or exactly who it's meant for, to me that's freeing, but it's also very it's difficult because I do create each of my pieces with the hope and the intention that someone will someday love it and own it and connect with it. And so that sits in the back of my head as I start new bodies of work that are sort of from my own inspiration or from something that I haven't been hired to do or hired to paint for someone else. And so I do meditate a lot on that thought before I start. I listen to music, I read, I look at pictures. I just went on a trip to West Texas and was really inspired by the landscape there and the people there and sort of the elements of nature. And so in that sense, I felt really inspired to create paintings based off of that. And that process has looked vastly different from, when I'm hired to create a custom piece for someone. I think often when I do commissioned artwork, I've shifted a bit to sort of narrow down how many commissions I take in just so that I have space to work on my own artwork. But it really is fun creating art for people who have an idea of what they might want to see from me, or who have, blocked out a piece of wall space to custom make something that I've helped build with them. And so oftentimes when people ask for commissioned artwork, we start, with a phone call. We start with a discussion about why they've come to me, sort of why they're drawn to my artwork. And I really want to get a good sense of what pieces of mine they like, what pieces they might not like. I understand that I have a style, but a lot of my paintings are very different. And so some of my pieces don't connect with everyone. And even if someone's hiring me to do a custom piece, I'd love to hear sort of why and the intention behind what they are drawn to. And then we kind of work together to create something that's really special, really unique. I pull from, maybe multiple pieces to include elements that they've really enjoyed looking at. And it is a partnership and sort of a collaboration whenever I do a custom piece or a commission with someone. And in that sense, I love commissions because they are sort of this opportunity to step outside my traditional practice of maybe being more solitary and sort of more on my own and in producing artwork. And it allows me to invite other people in, and it allows me to create something special for them, which I do really love. And there's something about knowing before you create a piece that someone is going to purchase it, that's also somewhat freeing, if I'm being completely honest. That's really nice to just know that, someone sought you out and someone's, intentionally purchasing something with the freedom to sort of, it's a lot of trust to commission an artist. And I just don't take that lightly. I think I feel very grateful. And I still get giddy, whenever someone asks I remember every purchase and every piece, and especially when it's a commissioned piece. Those are they're very special. So
I love watching your face light up as you're talking about it. And it's actually quite fascinating because there's an intimate piece of you that is in someone's home or wherever it is that the commissioned piece is. There's a part of you that's with that person.
Yeah, which is still crazy to me. I think every time I talk about what I do for a living, I feel like, so, who am I that someone would want my artwork? And that feels like surreal. And I think there's so many ways I want it to grow and change and evolve. But I think I was talking to CJ like earlier, this month about just how important it is to remind yourself that like where you are today is still further than where you were a few weeks ago. And every customer matters, every purchase matters, we were talking about how fun it is when someone buys a painting. It's not, I think that you're right. I think people probably see that and feel that a bit, but they'll probably never know how many, jumps up and down I've done when something sells off my website, or, I'll never be able to truly communicate that to everybody who's purchased a piece of artwork, but it does feels really special. So.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned your website, because we're going to pull it up, because I know there's some special things on there and things that you want people to know about. So let me just share my screen. All right. So just if you would direct me, I'm over here on the website. Where would you like me to go?
Yeah, that is my website. And on my front homepage, you'll see some pictures of myself that my friend Claire took of me right when I first began my business. And so those photos were really just special and dear to my show of my earlier paintings. And then, just on the bottom there, you can see links to my Instagram page. So those photos are all on my Instagram. It shows some of more of my most recent artwork. And then at the bottom there, you can sign up for my newsletter, which is a great way to receive sort of new artwork and messages about what I have coming up, and hear about either events or paintings I'm launching. If you click on art, you can go down to prints or new artwork portfolio. Any of those will take you to a location where you can view my artwork. And then prints is where you can buy a print of some of the pieces I've selected, sort of to be my main collection of artwork that you can buy at a lower price point in a bunch of different sizes. And so I have that there for people who might not want to buy a canvas quite yet, or might, have a few different they want to purchase, and they can buy a collection of them. And then if you go to new artwork, that's a great place to see a series that I just finished. So these works are paintings that I recently completed, and they're inspired by that trip to West Texas, Big Bend, Marfa area. And I have a little excerpt at the top that explains what they're about and sort of what the meaning is behind them. But a lot of them are just very kind of ethereal, sort of want to represent some of that idea of a landscape, some parts of nature, but mostly I wanted them to feel vast and also very intimate. I think that's kind of how I feel when I'm in the desert. I feel like I can escape. I feel like I can sort of think and breathe a bit more, but also it's very serene. And so they're not quite meant to be desert paintings, but more of that sort of emotional translation of what it felt like to, be hiking in Big Bend and look at a sunset and watch the trees connect with the earth and watch the birds fly around in the like over the water. And so a lot of those are kind of an expression of that trip. There's a few that are actually, this is a good segue, but I have hung some of my pieces in a restaurant called Hank's, which is in Austin. Yep, that's a great photo. So they are featuring some of my work on their walls, and they are for sale. So a lot of these have a link to inquire for the pieces, but if you wanted to see them in person, go to the restaurant if you're in Austin. That's a great place to see them and view the works in person. And then if you scroll back up to the top, I have a portfolio page as well. And so if you ever wanted to look at my past artworks, sort of other pieces that I've done pretty recently, it'll tell you kind of the date and what their medium is. I work in both oil paintings and acrylic, so you can sort of explore my different styles. A lot of those pieces have sold. They're past artworks that I just like to incorporate to allow people to get a feel for what I am and who I do. And a lot of those are, they've been really special. And it kind of showcases just my past artwork. And then I also have a contact page if you ever have any questions or want to inquire about a custom painting. That's a great place to do it. And I normally get back to people via email way better than I do on Instagram. So I always tell people whenever I'm DMing, I'm like, I'm so sorry, like, please send me an email, because otherwise I get flooded on Instagram. But yeah, that's a great place to see my artwork. And then I also, I'm represented by a gallery here in Austin that does a great job at selling my artwork. And so I have that listed on some of my most recent paintings, but it's called Austin Art Garage. So if anyone's interested in purchasing artwork, a great place to do it is at the Austin Art Garage. And then my website will also be showcasing any online drops. I've been calling them online drops because I normally set up a time where I'll kind of announce a launch. So I'm working on 9 paintings that will be available next Thursday, and they'll be located on my website. So you'll just go to the same page. Under art, there'll be a new tab, and that's how you can kind of purchase artwork directly from me. So my website's normally a great hub to kind of see everything I've got going on apart from my social media.
Congratulations on all those solds. Did you see that, Kathy?
Yes, I'm very impressed. And okay, so it leads me to this burning question that I have always had about artists. How do you decide the price that you're going to charge?
Yeah, that is such a great question. And I think every artist probably has felt tormented by that question. I might be the only one, but I'm pretty sure in art school, we were all like, I don't know where to, how to value myself. How do I value this one art piece? How do I value, how much to put on a painting? I think at this point now I have a pretty good system. I feel pretty confident in the numbers. I think at first I had a professor tell me it was with this small art show we were doing in our gallery, but he said, put $500 on it, and when in doubt, that's a great place to start. Which to me, I'm an art student, I was like, oh my god, $500 is so much money. And I think his point was just you got to start somewhere. And I think that it's so easy to undervalue ourselves as artists. And so there's been times where I've totally not sold a piece, and I've lowered the price to kind of try to maybe make it happen a little bit faster. I've really had to sort of test things out to make sure that I feel what I'm asking is fair. I think what a lot of artists, or I guess what I was kind of needed, I had great friends and a lot of people who reminded me that, you're not only selling your painting, you're selling your time, all of the years of knowledge and experience and learning that went into, how you were able to make that piece. So you're not just selling that one painting, you're selling the years of the time and the years of experience that went into learning how to make your artwork. So I think if you're able to factor in, materials, time, and then also ultimately, I think that as an artist, you just really want to feel good about how much you're going to make off a piece. And so as simple as it sounds, I think I've had to kind of ask myself, like, how would I feel if something sold for this amount of money? Would it feel valuable and worth it? And like, I'm not sort of selling myself short. I think over the last year and a half, I've been a bit better at looking at actual numbers and sort of pricing things out. But I guess I wish I had like a more cut and dry answer, but I think ultimately it like start somewhere and don't sell yourself short. I think a lot of artists tend, or at least I, tend to undervalue myself because it's really hard to know exactly what you're worth as an artist. And I think try something, see if it works. And then if you can find, a price per square foot or square inch that, works for you after, a few sales, then go with that. And I've raised my prices kind of every year at least, sometimes every 6 months. I think as you grow and as you learn, your price should increase with how much knowledge and how much experience you're gaining. It should increase with, how much exposure, whether or not, you're working with a gallery. So I think all those things are really important to consider, but I think ultimately, go with what feels really right to you and kind of see if it works at first.
Hunter, I am so inspired by you. I'm sure, Kathy, you have learned so much that women typically, I can't say all women, but some group of women, including me, have always undervalued themselves. And for you to have learned that, it is fantastic, and stick with that because you have value. Your work is outstanding. It's so beautiful. And I've also found that what we do might not be for everyone, but there will be someone. There are people. Clearly, you've already sold so many pieces. You know what you're doing. So that's fantastic. And we do have a comment from Diane Floyd Blaine. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you for watching, Diane.
Yeah, so, Hunter, I applaud you. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I speak over you? I didn't.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. Thank you.
No, Hunter, I was sitting there with Dr. JACALYN, just nodding my head, going, bravo, bravo. I'm so glad that you have this mindset about not undervaluing yourself. Long story short about myself, that's one of the reasons why I left the corporate world, is because I got sick and tired of somebody determining my worth in terms of what they were going to pay me for a salary. And I just got up the courage and I was like, no more will anyone ever tell me that this is all that the job that you're doing is worth. Forget it. And so I was just like, I'm done, over and out. And to this day, I've never looked back. So I can't tell you enough or encourage you enough to keep that mindset. And I think it's wonderful. You're very, very wise beyond your years.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I feel like I just have to give credit to so many people who have, told me all the things that sometimes I can't tell myself, because it's like, I think having a support system is a very important thing. It's a really rare thing. I think that as artists, we tend to be very solitary. I am an introvert, but I think leaning on the people that you know and love and like allowing them to just remind you of those things. And I do feel like everyone struggles with that. So thank you for those words. But
absolutely. I mean, we've all gone through the stages, and I think the voices go in and out of our lives of what you think you're going to be a success, or nobody's going to want to buy that, nobody's going to listen to you, nobody's going to watch this, and you just have to it sometimes it takes every ounce of your energy to turn that off. And so again, I can't applaud you enough. Keep on.
Thank you. I totally agree with that too, right? Like selective hearing whenever you're asking for input or feedback or advice, whether it's on artwork or business or how you might do or approach a problem. I think you're going to get so many different answers, and so many people are going to have an opinion or going to critique in the way they would do things. And so I think, yeah, that's such a good point, is just to fine tune the feedback you're getting, fine tune the advice you're getting. And yeah, ultimately, I think listening to what works for you is probably the most important thing.
Hunter, something else that you remind me of, I'm a big fan of Shark Tank and Mr. Wonderful on there. He's always talking about, oh, you have a hobby. That's not a real business. You have a real business. So I think that that's really important to talk about. Sometimes we do things and it is a hobby because we haven't figured out how to monetize it, but you've done that. So kudos to you on that. And we also have a comment from Jake Hockett. Hello, Jake. Thanks for watching. Hunter is amazing. Will be a household name one day. Absolutely.
Very sweet.
And to our friends who are watching on YouTube, if you would subscribe, we'd love to have you. We have 26 shows on average each week. We'd love to have you as part of our family. So, Hunter, as we come to the end of our show, I personally am so excited for you. What you have created, your work is absolutely stunning. How do people contact you? I know you have your website and people can go to the restaurant to see. People who are watching us from all over the world, they're interested in working with Hunter Ash. Can they do that if they're outside the United States?
So currently I'm only shipping to the United States. I'd love to hear inquiries from anyone and everyone. Like I said, I'm still very much an emerging, expanding artist. And so if it's a fun, experience, if I can make it happen, I would love to try. I'm definitely looking into ways to sort of expand outside the US. There's a couple opportunities I've been trying to pursue outside the US. So I might kind of need to tweak a bit or think a bit about how to do that well. So please email me with any potential opportunities, potential questions, and I'd love to sort of try to make it happen if I can. I think a really cool part about my job has been just trying to figure out how to work with other people when there's a job that pops up that I maybe have never done before. So totally open to that. Right now, I am only shipping to the US for paintings that are purchased on my website. As far as Austin Art Garage, which is the gallery I represent, I might have to check with them to see if they ship outside the US. But other than that, I'm totally willing to kind of check on those types of questions. But please email me if you're interested in working with me. Otherwise, you can always find me at the Austin Art Garage or through my website. That's where I post a lot of paintings for sale.
Hunter Ash, you're definitely going global. So I want you to think big picture.
Okay, well, I'm in it. I'm ready.
Fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you. I hope you'll come back to our show, The Art of Creating Mental Health Wealth. I think you would be fabulous as a guest on there to inspire people to take their feelings and manifest it in some way through a creative process. Yeah,
that sounds amazing. And I feel like I'm very humbled by that, and that means a lot to hear you say. But I think that art is just such a special tool. And I feel like if somehow somebody finds joy in either looking at a piece of artwork or feels freedom to sort of explore creating a piece of artwork, then, we're doing our job well as artists. So.
And we have another comment. I agree with you. Morgan Ash, coolest sister ever.
So great. Support system, I'm telling you, they're awesome.
Hunter, so I'm
Absolutely.
going to spotlight you and put your banner up again. So for people who are not able to read it or they're listening on the radio, can you just share with them how they actually do contact you?
Definitely. So my website is www.hunter-ash.com. And then my email is hunter@hunter-ash.com. And feel free to call me. I prefer email, but my phone number is always available, 970-379-2939. And like I said, I love getting emails from people. I love getting inquiries from people. Even if you just went to my website at hunter- or hunter-ash.com, that's a great way to contact me. So that contact form goes straight to my email and I read all of them. I might
I
get
think you're going to
giddy.
be very busy reading emails for sure. We also have some other comments from Judy Converse Nutrition. Hi, Judy. Love this beautiful work and story, Hunter. Thanks so much for commenting. And also Addie Ott, fantastic episode and inspiring work by Hunter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Addie. Thank you. All right, we're going to close out, Hunter. Fabulous interview. I'm so proud of you and happy for you.
Thank you so much. This was such a pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on, Hunter.
Yeah.
You are amazing. You are fabulous. You are going to be successful beyond anything you could possibly ever imagine. And I can't encourage you enough to keep on keeping on.
Wow.
And
Thank
come
you.
back. Please
Okay,
come
I
back.
will. Yeah, have me anytime. I'm here. I would love to. Thank
You know
you.
what I think would be really interesting? I think it would be, if it was possible to do this, for us to actually watch you paint. Now, obviously, our show is only a certain number of minutes, but to
Yeah.
actually have that experience, if you'd be open to that.
Oh, of course. Yes, I would be definitely open to that. I try to post sort of like time-lapse videos every now and then. And those, that's a great tool to kind of consolidate the length of time it takes to paint something. But if we did any sort of live painting, that would be really fun. So I'm totally open to inviting people into my studio and sort of showing more of that process for sure. Yeah.
Excellent. I love that. Well, everyone who is watching and listening, you have just met the soon to be global brand, Hunter Ash.
Without a
Thank
doubt.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. We'll look forward to having you back again.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, Hunter.
Kathy,
Wow.
once again, fabulous guest that you brought here today. There's so many lessons that we can take away from what Hunter shared, in whether it's from the mental health aspect or whether it's from taking a hobby and creating a business, whether it's believing yourself, knowing your value. I could go on and on.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. But I mean, I just can't get over how proud I am of her for taking her passion and creating a business. And I mean, this clearly, I mean, obviously you take a look at her work and this is what she's meant to do and to be. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So
I do too. I'm looking for wall space, by the way, so I can contact her. And I was feeling a real emotional connection to her work.
Me too. I saw some specific pieces because I'm in the middle of a huge renovation project myself, and I'm thinking some of that might work in my bedroom. Don't know, but yeah, I think she's great. Awesome.
Well, guess what? As your business as an interior designer, wouldn't it make sense to have a collaboration with her? So when someone's redesigning, they get a Hunter Ash piece put right there in their place.
We think alike. We always think alike. So yes, 100%.
Here's to collaboration and supporting other women. So Kathy Fulton, I'm going to spotlight you. And if you can share with our audience, how can people reach out to you and who would you like to contact you?
Well, if you are needing to design any space in your house, interior or exterior, feel free to, I love it when people call me. So I can be reached at 703-895-3798. If you'd prefer to email, feel free to do that. It's Cathy with a C, so CATHY Fulton, FULTON 1965 at gmail.com.
And Kathy, your Talking Heads series is coming up. Your next episode is right after this. What will people be learning from you today?
Well, we are going to talk about outdoor kitchens and all the different materials you can use and just how you can make it really cool. So don't touch that dial, or don't click anything. Just stay put.
Don't go anywhere. And again, to our friends on YouTube, if you would subscribe, it means so much. We just love growing our channel. And this way, maybe you're watching and you want to be a guest one day. If you want to be a guest on our platform, just go over to usaglobaltv.com, book your session. And that's where Hunter Ash will be going to book her future sessions when we can watch her live paint, or live stream painting, I think we're going to call it. So
Awesome. Awesome. Excellent.
all right, Kathy, thank you so much. I'll see you over in the other studio.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye
Bye.
for now. Thank you, everyone. Wow, what a morning it's been, the Kathy Fulton morning. And I'm just so excited that Hunter Ash is here today and sharing her incredible work. Maybe you have something that you've created during the pandemic. Maybe you've started your own business. Maybe you've joined the Great Resignation and left corporate, or maybe you're still in corporate. Whatever it is, we want to hear from you. This platform is about 4 things. It's about entertainment, education, hope, and inspiration. We love to share positive stories from people around the world, so we realize that we are all truly connected as a global community, and it all starts with you. So thanks for being part of this. We'll be right back in less than 10 minutes. I'll be back with Kathy Fulton for her Talking Head series. Thank you again. Bye for now.